Little thing, a fresh one, fresh little microfiber, a little applicator, Gyeon applicator towel. You just hold it on like this, and we're gonna put drops on here. So here's the rappel. I think there's a little eyeglass dropper you gotta put in here. Maybe not. Shoot. Makes my fingers hurt holding on to this thing. It's going to be hard to use an entire bottle on this thing. One part. Yeah, this is a 20 millimeter bottle. I'm supposed to use this whole thing. I'll probably just put a second coat on. This stuff looks like all the other stuff I've ever used, Rain-X, and smells the same. Supposedly, from reviews, this stuff lasts longer than Wolf's. I don't see how it lasts longer than Wolf's, but hey, if it's better and I can actually buy it, I'm down with that. All right. Using maybe 5 milliliters on that. So maybe I'm not using enough. It would actually be kind of cool, little case study of the Gyeon on 3 of the windows, and then the Wolf's on the other. there's no way I'm gonna use this whole thing. I'm just gonna do all the windows. So I'll have to cleanse the others. All right, so let me get a little different camera angle for the cleanse here. Side window. And let me do the side view mirror. Get this wet. Okay. So now you can see why I don't like to do this in one detailing session. It takes forever. We're not even done yet. That smells just like sunscreen. Ask me how I know, being a super whitey in Florida. Hiding from the sun. I should have just stayed up north. Until I see you guys freezing your rear ends off. Watching, Monday Night Football. I think I'll pass. I'll stay here. Because now it's like 65 degrees out today and amazing. Especially if you're into washing cars like I am. So the dream of the new garage will be that I get to wash cars any time of the day rather than having to try to hide in the shade at certain times. It was all about doing washing inside. Do it in the air conditioning. It's just, when I added up the cost and sort of look at the different options, it was just too much. It was just easier to stick to the idea of washing outside, just doing it in a covered area. Much more economical. Despite the fact that the garage I'm intending to build is the dream garage. You can't see squat here. There's still limitations to what you can do. Well, at least what I can do. Maybe some of you have more resources than I do, but You know what I'm saying. Need to be realistic here. And I know there's certainly different levels of what's realistic. I get that I'm super fortunate and have my realistic is different than many. But then again, there are still many that have a different level of crazy than me, or maybe just more money than me, which is, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'm so fortunate to be able to do all this crazy stuff and spend this money and buy a nice garage. And, part of the advantage of where I live is the cost of living is so much different than where many of you guys are. I don't have any state income tax. Your property taxes are relatively low. You pay about, where I am, I pay about $15 per thousand in assessed value. And the assessed value, they usually give you a few bucks forgiveness. So let's say, for instance, you buy a house for $500,000, then they'll assess it at 93%, or so give you a 7% discount on the value that you're paying, your assessed value that you're paying tax on, and then you pay 15. You get a homestead exemption of like $50,000, and then you pay $15 per thousand, $15 per thousand. Where I am in this sort of rural area. Actually, my current house is about $19 per thousand. It's called the millage rate, which most states use. So, my property tax bill in this house is like $4 or $5 grand. I know some of you guys that live in Jersey or California are like, oh my gosh, that's the reference point for taxation. In Florida, so much different. Then I have no state income tax. So, there's if you live in New York City, for gosh sakes, you're paying what, 12, 13% income tax. So yeah, you make more, but it costs a lot more. So, granted, I make a pretty decent living, but that decent living goes a lot further here than it does in higher standard of living areas of the country. So it affords me the ability, for instance, that garage I'm going to build, if you tried to build that in some other major city, it'd be a lot more. I'm probably going to be about, if you exclude the stuff inside, $50, maybe $60 a square foot to build it. Which is, when the cost of the property is not nearly as high as other places. So, anyway, just blabbing away here, just telling you what I think. I know some of you younger guys are saying, "Shut your mouth, you rich boy," but in fairness to me, I don't know that I'd call myself a rich boy. And it certainly wasn't given. So, but I'm super lucky, super fortunate. I always hear, and I probably have this attitude too, but I always hear people get all offended when, especially on forums and stuff, where you say you get lucky or you're fortunate, and guys will tend to snap back and say, well, I created my own luck. Well, that's probably partly true, but I just sort of lucked into, I probably should be an engineer in a lab somewhere making $70,000, which is a great living, but certainly doesn't afford you a GT3. So I count my lucky stars every day. So call me what you will. Just know I'm thankful. Okay. So, you know, the Gyeon bottle clearly states, I'm just blowing through towels here. I figure if I got them, might as well use them. Why try to stretch it out? So the bottle says use the entire thing. I just don't see how that's possible. To use an entire bottle on just the front 3 windows. I used like a tenth of the bottle, even if I put 10 coats on. So I'm going to put this on the back windows, and I'm going to put a coat on another coat on the front. Okay, I didn't cleanse this, but whatever. So let's get this different angle here. Probably in the way. Okay, that one's done. That one's done. As you can see, it's a pretty easy procedure. Just put it on.